Thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank the organizers and all the delegates for giving me the opportunity to take the floor.
Thank you for the possibility to take the floor. This morning, we've heard a number of presentations that were hinting at the energy issue and the energy problems. I would like to say that my colleague Rapoto said that we are experiencing and living times of hardship. But from the energy point of view, I must say that we are now going through a time of changes, revolutionary changes. According to the estimates of a number of experts and of energy agencies, in the next 25-30 years, the energy market will see epochal radical changes, which are going to be due to the changes in quantities and changes in the structure of production and consumption. Which will entail geographical changes as well, in the sense that the growth centers will be shifted more and more towards the Pacific and Asia. And in any such conditions, I believe that it is going to be only natural to see a process of embitterment of competition. So bitter competition will be the rule. And we will be witnessing a series of trends. In the first place, we should say that there is a growing role of technological progress. Technological progress is getting ever more faster because this is also increasing supply, the supply side. Today we've heard about shale oil and shale gas. We've talked about the extraction of oil fields in the continental platform. This was an excellent illustration of the new possibilities that we now have thanks to the technological process. The second trend, which is under our eyes, consists in the fact that we know that there are growing quantities and the percentage of energy that is going to be produced with alternative sources. In different countries, this is taking place and happening in different ways, but this is a visible trend. You probably have heard about the ongoing debate and discussion, which has got to do with the subsidies to alternative sources, energy sources. We know that further development will be linked to the reduction of the quota of traditional fuels. Then there is a third trend, which is the one of the diversification of the national energy systems. This process is an ongoing process in countries that are usually consumers of energy, but also those countries that produce energy. And one of the natural ways to adjust to these processes that are ongoing within the worldwide energy sector, but also that affect the economy at large, is the desire of setting up alliances, and this is a desire of different states. The alliances and partnerships can be resting upon common interests or on negative sentiments against other people. And the agreed interests usually are at the basis of the cooperation being developed by Russia within the framework of the Euro-Asian Economic Union, but also in the framework of the organizations that operate within the Shanghai cooperation setting, within the BRICS, and in the framework of the alliances and the partnerships that are now being created abroad. For example, the partnership, the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the Transatlantic Partnership. We believe that this has got to do with different hopes. To us, in fact, it's unimaginable to have such a partnership within the Pacific area without involving China and without including China. China is one of the biggest consumers of energy, but also one of the biggest manufacturing producers and goods producers. So the base of the partnership has to be constructive. If you partner with someone, and if you allow with someone, that means that you are promoting contraposition. And frequently the common interests of those who are partnership, members of the partnership, are represented by transnational projects. And this has got to do with ambitious national strategies, with national development plans, such as, for example, the energy space in Europe, the single European space from Lisbon to Vladivostok, the new Silk Road. And let me say that this last project, the one of the Silk Road, and we've talked at length about it, makes me say that there are restricted views of this project. It's not only entailing the infrastructures, because this is a project that aims at developing the economies of countries that are members of the partnership. So we believe that the Silk Road could be the sort of the bandwagon of the development of the economy of those countries that are joining in. And our intention is to develop an active collaboration and cooperation with our Chinese partners so as to implement this project. But then if we consider the current situation, the energy sector of Russia is trying to protect and safeguard partnership relations within the traditional markets, inclusive of Europe. And in this case, quite naturally, we are also thinking of the development of our own economic relations and energy relations in the Asia and Pacific area, but in other areas of the world as well. Now, as far as Asia and Pacific areas, you know that we are developing a policy, a support policy, in order to support those projects implemented in Siberia and in the Far East, which have got to do with the enhancement of the energy potential of these regions, but also the construction of logistic infrastructures that may allow us to safely protect the needs and safeguard the needs of the markets that are rapidly growing. When talking of this partnership with our European colleagues, we've seen that this activity aims at promoting energy safety and security, but also the viability of supplies, the feasibility of the supplies. And the efforts aim at promoting technologies, energy technologies. We've already had the opportunity to say something about technological development. My colleague Andrea was briefly hinting at what SNET is doing. And this is not the only company involved in the innovation project. We, as a matter of fact, believe that there is a great potential, cooperation potential, between Russian and European companies, because both the Russian and the European companies have and own highly sophisticated technologies that are not accessible to any other company. We've also mentioned sanctions. We also talked about sanctions, how they may affect the life of our countries and our own economy. So I wouldn't want to be repetitive, so let me just say that sanctions that were launched against our country made it so that some projects that we were leading forward in collaboration with other 6 European partners, the 6 projects were discontinued. There is one project in Lukkur, Cantimansis. Then we also have some raw soil projects in the Chukcha Sea and in the Eastern Siberian Sea. So these are basically projects that were basically carried out in the Black Sea, in the YANOVSKIY Sea. And this project is going to hamper the supplies of natural gas to Japan. The consequences of this will be affecting the implementation timing, and at the same time all of the plans having to do with these fields and oil fields will be in the end implemented. And then another thing which is to be considered is that the partners may be different. We've also brushed upon the political attention which was due to the fact that some states do not want to reach any agreements, and political divergences lead to economic damages that are going to be suffered by all partners and counterparts. This morning, President Prodi mentioned the Ukrainian oil ducts and pipelines, and he was wondering what happened to the North Vodorsk stream. And I must say that the project that we had to stop because of the opposition from the European Commission, and obviously I'm talking about South Stream, well, that project was born and stemmed out of the contacts that Mr. Prodi had, because he was one of the supporters of the project. And the fact that the European countries, although being interested in the project, in the end could not allow for its implementation and could not assure the approval of the European Commission is a choice on their side. They wanted it to be so. You probably know that now Russia has launched some projects aiming at connecting Russia with the European Union, Nord Stream 2 and Turkish Stream. Projects like that, these ones, exist also in the field of electric energy. We invite our partners to participate to the building of the nuclear plant in the Kaliningrad Norjust region. We are already building up a nuclear plant in Belarus, a plant that could also provide and supply Europe. Let's say that all of the European companies that are interested to work in Siberia and on the continental platforms could be welcome. And now, let me conclude by mentioning a few concrete initiatives. I believe that we have good possibilities to create some technological partnerships in those areas which could prove of mutual interest, and that in the end there will be in a position of shifting the core of the future energy sector. I believe that the energy agencies cannot just stand alone, but rather should be participating in the new Silk Road. We will be more than obviously pleased to participate to this project together with the most important European companies.